Hey everyone, I'm Joshua Rodriguez and welcome back to my real estate channel. Today we're going to be talking about condo versus co-op. What is a condo? A condo is a privately owned unit within a community of other units that gives you a deed issued to you, which is considered real property. Why is it considered real property? It compares itself to a home, a townhouse, versus a co-op. What are the benefits of purchasing a condo? I'll tell you. It is great for investment. It is actually great for different type of multiple loan types because they're very open to different loan types. Certain areas you can do FHA, 3.5% down. Some places you could do 10% down versus a co-op that may have restrictions and actually have down payment minimums that are higher, 20, sometimes 25, even 30% of the purchase price because that's their rules. What is the benefit of a co-op? What is a co-op, you ask? I'll tell you. A co-op is essentially a collective of units that are inside of a building that are governed by a board of directors and that hold shares versus real property. What do you mean hold shares, Josh? When you own a condo, you're actually purchasing real property, so you get a deed. When you buy a co-op, you're getting shares to a corporation, which standard for the most part tend to vary based off of the unit size. The more larger the unit, the more shares. The smaller the unit, the lower amount of shares. You get shares to a corporation, which is ultimately the owner of that building, versus a condo where you actually own your unit and also certain percentages of the common areas. Josh, are there any benefits of the two? Absolutely. When you have a co-op, you can for sure say that with those high debt to income requirements, with those down payment restrictions that are over 20%, sometimes close to 30 and 40%, you are in a financially strong building. For the most part, they do that to make sure that people that are coming in to the cooperation actually can afford to keep it from going into foreclosure. Because unlike a condo or real property, you can foreclose on an individual, it kind of affects that unit, but then they could kind of sell it. It doesn't affect the units around them as much. In a corporation, because you're purchasing shares, if the shares take a hit, just like the stock market, the value per share goes down. So when you do it in a cooperation, they vet very heavily for that purposes, so that way they don't have any financial hardship throughout the life of the building, because you have a board of directors that is just governing alongside management to keep the building financially sound. When purchasing a condo, you can be assured that the rules are a little bit less restrictive. You have a little bit more control in some of the options that are available to you as an owner, i.e., you can rent it out. For the most part, for most condominiums, the standard is unlimitedly. You could do it from day one. Unlike a co-op, which you will get before you even purchase, house rules. House rules are a list of rules that actually come from the board of directors that the entire cooperative have voted on and says we're going to abide by these standards. When you're doing a co-op though, I would suggest at the beginning, find out, because each building is completely separate. Each building, because of their bylaws and they vote on them, are individually tailor-made to their style. So each building is different. You're gonna have to find out every building what their subletting policy is. With co-ops, you kind of come into that scenario and they'll let you know what they're willing to allow based off of their guidelines and their bylaws, which some places don't. For the majority, do not allow actually subletting from day one, or they may give you 2 years out of 5, maybe 5 years out of every 10 years, or some just no subletting policy at all. That would be great maybe for families, people that don't need it for an investment, primary residents, or the restriction on subletting where if you only can use it for 2 years, that also does well for people that may want to work abroad, if you have that option where you don't need to sell your unit because the unit's going to be sitting empty, you can say, okay, I'm going to take a position somewhere across the country or across the world for a year just to get that experience. You have those options available to you, which allow you to kind of use those more specifically for those types of needs, versus a condo. No matter what decision you make, you can always go ahead and rent it out, and it'll be an asset for you in the investment form and in the primary residence form. If you would like more information about condo versus co-op and what specifically should be tailored for you, go ahead and reach out to the Rodriguez team at rodriguez@avenuesny.com, and we'll answer you back and answer your specific questions, whatever questions you may have, so that we can educate you. The first-time home buyer is our best friend. Thank you again for checking out my channel. I'm Joshua Rodriguez, team leader of the Joshua Rodriguez team. Please go ahead, click that subscribe button, click that like button, and go ahead and click that bell so that way you can get notifications when we upload videos.